There's a distinct kind of power you simply can't buy. A profound strength that never announces itself with fanfare. It isn't loud, it doesn't scream for attention, and it certainly doesn't seek external validation. It simply is, a quiet, steady, utterly unshakable presence. This is what happens when you diligently train your mind until absolutely nothing can break you. When the inevitable storms come, and they will, you don't flinch, you don't run in panic, you don't beg the world to somehow go easy on you. Instead, you just stand there, silent, perfectly still, and undeniably ready. We're all born raw, sensitive, easily stirred by rejection, angered by betrayal, and crushed by disappointment. But life doesn't wait for us to toughen up, it keeps throwing punches. And if you never learn how to take a hit without falling apart, you'll spend your entire life merely reacting instead of truly living. You'll be constantly ruled by chaos, pulled by every fleeting emotion like a puppet on strings. And the worst part is, you won't even realize it's happening. You'll genuinely think you're making choices, that you're in control, but you're not. You're just bouncing between reactions, constantly seeking temporary comfort, desperately avoiding pain, and chasing elusive illusions. At some critical point, you've got to wake up and declare, enough. Enough of being broken by mere words. Enough of being shattered by people who don't even know who they are. Enough of letting the past bleed uncontrollably into the present and passively calling it fate. Enough of playing small because you were told you weren't good enough. None of that was ever truly about truth. It was all about noise. And your first real act of strength, the very first brick in building a mind that absolutely cannot be broken, is silence. Silence is not weakness. It's not passivity. It's not a retreat. It is profound control. It's consciously choosing not to respond to chaos with more chaos. It's boldly declaring, I don't owe you my energy. It's not about bottling your feelings until they explode. It's about learning precisely which emotions deserve your voice, and which ones are better left to dissolve behind your eyes like morning mist. There's something undeniably powerful about the person who simply doesn't react, who listens intently, observes calmly, and waits patiently. They often intimidate people because they cannot be manipulated. They are not a slave to urgency. They don't need the last word. They already know exactly who they are. We live in a world absolutely addicted to noise. Everyone wants to be seen, heard, and validated right now. But the stronger you become, the more you'll feel an undeniable pull to vanish, to move in profound silence. Not because you're hiding, but because you're deliberately conserving your inner fire. Real power is like still water, deep, calm, and exquisitely reflective. It doesn't have to prove itself, it simply exists and quietly transforms everything it touches. You've probably felt it before, that burning, almost uncontrollable desire to explain yourself, to defend your name, to retaliate fiercely when you're disrespected. That's your ego desperately begging for relevance. But the stronger mind knows deep down that revenge is not power. Attention is not validation. The most powerful response is often no response at all. Not because you're afraid to act, but because you've already won the internal battle. You've mastered the hardest thing there is, yourself. The world will relentlessly keep testing you. You'll be betrayed by people you once implicitly trusted. You'll be lied to, used, and abandoned. You'll watch people walk away without any explanation. And you'll be left alone with burning questions you'll never get answered. And in those agonizing moments, your mind will scream, say something, do something, show them they can't treat you like this. You'll feel that familiar heat rise in your chest. But that, my friend, is where the real training begins. Can you sit in the fire without losing yourself? Revenge might feel good for a fleeting moment, but it ultimately keeps you tied to the very wound that caused the pain. It gives your power away to the exact thing that tried to destroy you. And that's not strength, that's dependence. What's infinitely stronger is calmly walking away without saying a single word. Letting them feel the profound weight of your absence. Letting time do what time does best. Expose true character. When you start detaching, not from people, but from outcomes, you begin to feel the boundless freedom that only the mentally unshakable ever truly know. You stop needing things to go a certain way to feel at peace. You stop desperately needing people to understand you. You stop needing the chaotic world to make perfect sense. You just move forward, one intentional step at a time. Clear, silent, and purposeful. And every single time something tries to pull you off your path, an insult, a failure, a heartbreak, you simply breathe. You remind yourself, I don't react, I choose. That's where self-discipline lives. In the tiny space between stimulus and response. In that fleeting pause where most people impulsively explode. You remain calm. You don't answer every call. You don't chase every insult. You don't fight every battle. You rise above, not out of weakness, but out of profound mastery. Stoic philosophers said it best, control what you can, accept what you can't, and recognize the difference. Most of what people lose sleep over isn't even real. It's perception. It's a fabricated story. It's a distorted version of reality shaped by fear, ego, and insecurity. But when your mind is truly trained, you stop believing every thought that pops into your head. You become the watcher. You observe your mind the way a wise elder observes a child throwing a tantrum, with patience, compassion, and unwavering authority. There is no shortcut to that kind of strength. It's forged in solitude, in pain, in long, silent nights where you sit alone and ask yourself the truly hard questions. Who am I when no one's watching? Why do I need so much from people who give so little? What part of me is still bleeding? And why do I keep letting others touch the wound? You start seeing the patterns. You start seeing how much of your suffering came from attachment. From expecting people to be what they never were. From expecting life to be fair. From desperately holding on to control in a world that doesn't owe you certainty. And when you finally let go, not in bitterness, but in deep wisdom, that's when the profound shift begins. You stop reacting, you stop chasing, you stop needing, and you truly start living. That's the moment everything fundamentally changes. Not because the chaos around you magically disappears, but because you're no longer ruled by it. You've trained yourself to stop dancing for approval, to stop bleeding for people who wouldn't lift a finger for you. You've transformed your pain into perspective. Your silence into an impenetrable strength. The storm didn't stop. You just learned how to stand in it. And now you walk differently. Not with arrogance, but with unshakable peace. Not with unnecessary noise, but with undeniable presence. Because when your mind is steady, you don't need to prove a single thing. So take that silence with you. Let it be your anchor. Let it remind you that peace was never out there. It was always something you had to meticulously build from within. If this message resonated deeply within you, I urge you to carry it always. Let it profoundly shape how you walk through this unpredictable world. Especially when the world tries its absolute hardest to shake you. You're not here to react to every single thing that offends you. You're not here to beg for respect or to chase fleeting validation. You're here to master yourself. To hold your ground when it would be so much easier to lash out. To stay perfectly still when every fiber of your pride screams to move. That, my friends, is where true strength lies. Not in shouting louder, but in staying calm when the noise becomes unbearable. Not in proving them wrong, but simply in refusing to be pulled into their toxic story. That's where your power is. Not in dominance, not in endless explanation, but in presence, in restraint, in the quiet, knowing confidence that the most formidable person in the room is always the one who simply doesn't flinch. If you're ready for more than just motivation, if you're ready for mastery, then subscribe, stay strong, stay grounded, and never forget, the quietest one in the room is usually the one truly in control.